Good morning, yogis. Thank you so much for joining in and continuing to watch. I hope you're finding these tips helpful, integrating into not just your practice, but your daily life, because that's what yoga is really about. So this week I wanted to talk about balance. Yoga is all about balance, the balance of the body, mind, and spirit, of course. But I think there's also always a balance of softness and firmness. I love the yoga terms stira and sukha. I think they're very relevant. And many also love the concept of yin and yang, which is pretty similar. You want a balance in every practice, even if it's a restorative practice or a power practice, of the yin and the yang. And stira and sukha, I think, can be applied to every pose. So, when you're in any pose, whether it's child's pose or whether it's plank, you want to find that balance. You've got softness. In child's pose you have more, for example, but you also want that balance of strength, that balance of really stretching your arms, of really feeling that length in your spine, of really connecting with your breath. And then plank, for example, you really want that balance. Yes, you're engaging your abs and your spine is long and your arms are working, but you also want that balance of releasing your shoulders, breathing strong, releasing your neck. And that's the same in just about every pose. So let's try a few examples. So we're going to start in our mountain pose. So you're just breathing deep, big toes touching, eyes are closed, just connecting with your body, feeling the feet grounding into the mat, feeling the knees, the hips, the elbows falling in line. That spine grows a little taller. And even here, although mountain pose is typically pretty neutral, just see if you can notice your strength, but also your release of tension. So you're holding yourself tall and your body's just kind of engaging on its own. Spine lengthens, the core starts to engage, but you're also releasing. Releasing the shoulders, opening everything up. And gently blink open your eyes. And we're going to start coming into Warrior One. So in Warrior One, you really want a nice square bend in the knee. So if the knee's all the way back and you can't bend your knee straight over your toes, bring your foot in a little. By the same token, if your foot is too far in and your knee's way over your foot, bring it in. Just find that 90-degree angle. It's different for everyone's body. And you're really grounding into both feet, feeling that spine long. The hips are nice and square. Bringing your hands to your hips to help is a good check. So you're just breathing here, and you're feeling your arms lift. And if you're ever feeling tension in the shoulders, or you just want to stretch in Warrior One, you can bring the hands behind the head, open up the chest. So you're breathing here. And now you're noticing that your feet are grounding into the ground, to the earth or your mat. They're strong, they're steady. The spine is tall and long. And the core just starts to engage on its own. But you also don't want tension. So finding your softness here. You're finding a release in your shoulders. There should not be tension up in the upper body. The shoulders are released. The chest is open. You're breathing deep. And if there's any tension in those arms, bring them back down here or just breathe. Couple more deep breaths here. Now we're going to take Warrior Two. So just opening up. Here your hips are square, open to the wall. So if your back hip's jutting out, bring them back in line. You still want the knee bent over the toes, so find that space for where the foot wants to go. And you're breathing. Back toes are slightly turned in. And the arms come out long. Inhaling up and exhaling to release the shoulders. So again in this pose, finding your stira and your sukha. So you've got that firmness. The feet are grounded into the mat. The lower body's very strong. The hips are square. Spine is long. Core is engaging. There's a lot of strength in this pose. And then there's the strength in the arms here as they reach out to either direction. And the strength in the gaze as you look ahead. But now finding your softness. You want your upper body released. The shoulders are relaxed down the back. The chest is open. If you're hunching, notice that. The neck should be able to relax. And if you feel the neck tensing when you gaze forward, just gaze to the side. find that first. So you're breathing here. Pose of strength, but also of release. One more deep breath. And let's bring it in. Just turn the feet in and wiggle them together, shake it out. So finding balance is very important in your yoga practice, and notice that in any pose you're in. Again, the gentlest, simplest, even in your balance poses, notice the balance of how hard you're working or how soft you are. And I think this is very important to take into your life as well. There's a level of strength we have to have in our day-to-day life and a level of softness. And even in our day-to-day activities, see if you have too much yang and not enough yin. Maybe you need a little more calming down, but also see maybe you need a little more power in your life. Really depends on every person, on every day. So try to find your daily balance. That's all for today. Until next week, yogis. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.